thumbs up as we're live.
Yeah,
We are live right now, folks.
All right.
Jon B here with Fishing in the Midwest. Also here with Mystery Tackle Box today. We got two, actually one really good YouTuber, the other one's pretty good. Both MTB pros. Got AP Bassin, or more commonly known as Alex Perrick. And we've got 1rod1reel.
What's up, guys?
And today, I'm not in the office. I don't have any of the fancy background and stuff like that. I'm actually here in Texas, and being that it's got such warm weather going on here, we're going to talk to you guys today about spring fishing, just because it's one of those things that kind of correlates with what's going on with everyone right now, but more specifically, how to catch fish during the spawn, because I would say just about every single state region is going through this whole spawn deal. Even in Illinois, I've seen some fish bed up. Here on in Texas, they're starting to bed up. So I'm going to ask these guys questions. I don't know much about fishing in general, so these guys are the pros for today, and they're gonna be taking the show on. I'm going to be asking some questions, and then maybe later on we'll open it up for some of you guys to ask questions as well, and pick their brains about spring fishing, or like I said, more specifically, fishing during the spawn. We're going to try to also touch base on some more controversial things here as well. But I'm really looking forward to today's episode. I hope you guys are really excited. But let's get into right off the bat here. I've got some great questions lined up for you guys. Are you guys ready for these questions?
Yeah, ready. And before we start, where are you in Texas right now?
Where am I in Texas?
Yeah.
It's a good question. Where am I? We're in Arlington. We are in Arlington, Texas right now.
Is it you, Lunkers, and Flair?
It is.
You caught the 10-pounder today.
Yeah, well, an 8-pounder was caught. I'm not going to say you caught it, but an 8-pounder was caught.
Holy moly.
Yeah, that's quite a fish, isn't it? Anyway, let's move on to the whole important part of this episode. Okay, so we got right here. I'm cheating a little bit. I got the questions up because I can't right off the top of the head with these questions here. But during the spawn, one thing I noticed, especially as a kid, fishing around some of these clear water lakes here, is during this kind of weird season when those fish are thinking about reproducing, their instinct is to go up shallow, find some ideal prime spawning areas. They do a lot of roaming, and this is like a perfect time to find just absolutely massive fish. And it can be kind of frustrating. You get like up here, it's like a nice fish is like 5 or 6. You have a 5 or 6 roaming around. You're like, how do you catch this fish? And they won't seem to bite anything. And I personally know Perry's done a lot of like spawning fishing. I know Mike, I'm sure you've done a ton as well. What do you guys do to try to hone in on some of those fish that roam? Because while they are super difficult to catch, I do know, and I've seen it happen, they are definitely possible to catch. But those big females are roaming around looking for good spawning areas. What do you use to find those big fish? Because this is an awesome opportunity to really catch like a personal best for a lot of anglers.
Yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and start.
Sure.
Like you said, those fish are really tough. They're moving up shallow, they're roaming around. The water could be clear, might not be clear. But mainly, a lot of people think when they see those bass, then they're gonna try. They'll be like, oh, it's a giant fish. Let me go try to cast them. They're gonna be all frustrated because they're gonna keep on fishing for this cruising fish, and they're not gonna catch them. A lot of times when you see those fish, they've already seen you, so they're gonna be a lot tougher to catch. So what I like to do is I like to go finesse, light line, shaky heads, maybe not drop shot, mainly shaky heads, stuff like that. And I want to make long casts on those shallow flats where they're likely to be roaming, but making casts to where I'm not quite seeing them yet. This way I can kind of sneak up on them and just hope that maybe that little finesse, subtle presentation might be just enough to get them to bite.
Definitely. Yeah, that's kind of what mine was. I like doing like a weightless rig sometimes, like a trick worm, not necessarily a Senko, but like a really tiny finesse worm. But yeah, spot on. What about you, AP?
All right, you want to give my lowdown on the shallow water sight fishing?
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right. So before you start out sight fishing, you need to first buy yourself a good pair of glasses. That's the key thing, because if you can't, what I like to do is I'll start way back in the pocket, work my way out, because if they're spawning, they're going to be way back in the pocket, so you'll know. But if they're just moving up, they're shallow cruising, they're going to be at the edge of the pockets. So if you got a good pair of glasses, I like Costas. That's my personal favorite. And I'm just going to look around for fish. And then if I start seeing fish that are cruising and they're not locked on beds, then I'll take out a Senko. And I'll back off the bank a little bit, and I'll just slowly fish a Senko, because as long as you're not going to catch those cruising fish if they're not guarding fry or if they're not on the bed. There's no chance. Like they're going to see you, they're going to see your trolling motor. Yeah, you just back off and fish slowly, and then if they're locked on the bed, then I like to take out a Rage Craw because it's got a lot of action, and that was actually featured in this month's Mystery Tackle Box, at least the one I got.
Mm-hmm.
And that rage craw is really good because it kind of mimics a bluegill. I like white or green pumpkin. White so I can see it, but green pumpkin more looks like a bluegill. And just fish those beds thoroughly. And then if they're post-spawn and they're guarding fry, then I'll use a trick-style worm, just a smaller worm, and I'll just kind of ease up towards the fry balls and just barely fish that trick worm by those fry balls. And usually that'll get some big fish to bite too. So that's kind of my when they're before spawn, spawn, and after spawn.
Nice. Do you have one of those rage crawls with you?
I do.
Can you get a sneak peek at what you got there, man?
I did a video on it. I posted it today.
Nice.
And
Nice.
I caught a fish, a little underwater video with this rage craw here.
Oh, that's a good looking bait.
Yeah, that was featured in the, this is the regular mystery tackle box I got.
Mystery tackle box?
Yeah, regular.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. You get the slam completed, man?
I did not get the slam completed, but I did catch a fish underwater video on the rage craw.
That is cool. That is pretty cool.
I did do something that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a sweet bait. I fished a lot of craws, and something about that action with those two
It's
is
totally
crazy.
It's totally different than anything else, I think.
It is, yeah. It's definitely one of a kind. Those are some pretty good tactics. I think I've already learned a few things already 7 minutes into this live cast from one of the best YouTube anglers out there, to be truthful. Yeah, but if you guys haven't checked out your these guys' channel afterwards, I'll leave links in the description below because you can see Peric's video, and I'm sure Mike, you've got a slam in the works, or have you already filmed your slam?
I just got my box yesterday, so I'm going to be taking it. I have a trip coming up to Ohio next week. I'm going to take my boxes to Ohio, do a little belly boat slam. You ever hear of those?
I've never heard of a belly boat slam. That sounds quite interesting, but I'm excited to see the video.
We'll see if I can make it work.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so that's good. We got that covered.
Was that good?
Yeah, that was pretty good. I like the answers to that. I feel like I said, I learned something from you guys. Let's go with another question. Let's just jump right into the real dirty stuff here. Let's get a little controversial here, and I'm interested to see. I don't have the comments pulled up right now, but I'm sure they're going to be pretty loaded with some good opinions here. So here I'm just as one-liner. Is it moral to catch fish off beds? What do you guys think? Let's hear AP first, and then Mike.
Okay.
Me?
Yes.
Okay. There are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of bass in each lake. There is no way anybody in the whole world is going to catch every single bed fish off of a bed in that lake. There's going to be fish that are going to make it through the spawn. There's going to be fish that are pulled off the bed and wait in the tournament that don't get to spawn, or they spawn after. It's not morally wrong. There's states that protect it, so if you're not allowed to go out during those times, then hey, you can't go out. But to me, it's not morally wrong. I've caught fish and I've kept them in my live well to weigh in a tournament that are on beds.
Yeah.
But mostly, if I'm fun fishing, I'll let them go right away. They'll go right back to the bed. No harm done at all. But I have heard though, one thing that I have heard in Lake Erie is they put a GoPro on a bed and they caught a fish off a bed, right? This was back 3 years ago when Lake Erie was filled with gobies. I guess the goby population is dying down pretty good now, but I guess they pulled that smallmouth off the bed, and within 2 seconds there were thousands of gobies just sitting there eating all the smallmouth's eggs that laid. So I mean, there is that too, and that might be why Erie. I don't know if Erie's smallmouth population is going down, but that could have something to do with it. But to me, I don't think it's morally wrong. I've caught plenty of fish off beds. I've released them, and those fisheries still seem to be thriving today. So that's my opinion on it.
Very nice. I think John asked for a one-liner. That might have been about 20 lines, but I'll go ahead.
No.
My question was a one-liner.
That
was fine.
Okay, shots fired at me right now.
Here's the challenge, though, Mike. Now you have to answer in a one-liner.
Yeah.
You set yourself up. Okay, let's hear it. Yes or no? Actually, one-worder. Yes or no? What do you think? And then we'll hear why.
One-worder?
Yeah.
Well, is there a maybe? Is there option C, maybe?
There's an in-between. Sure.
Well, the in-between is like Alex said, if it's a huge reservoir or lake, it's not really going to matter if you take off a couple of bedding bass, keep them alive well, and their eggs get eaten or whatever. Because in a huge body of water like that, there's going to be, there's millions of fry, and not all of them are going to grow up. Some of them are going to get eaten anyways. I think there's a theory that I learned. I forgot the exact theory. I don't know if any of you guys took biology. I forgot something. It has to do with natural selection and the overabundance. I don't remember. I'll have to look it up later. But if you're fishing maybe a smaller pond or a smaller lake and there's a lot of fishing pressure, then maybe if people are always fishing around the spawn, you might see a decrease in the overall population of bass in that smaller water system, just because there's not as many bass spawning every year. So you want to be careful not to put too much pressure on a smaller body of water, but a bigger body of water, that's probably going to be okay.
Yeah, I've heard, bigger bodies of waters, they can tend to take the heat. In other words, like, a few fish off the bed really isn't going to be an apocalypse for a lake, so to speak. I personally I don't think I have a real strong opinion on it. I just want to see what you guys had to say. I'm interested also to see later what some of the comments have to say. But yeah, I was just curious because I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, I think the most important thing is there's a good way to go about it. Catching a fish off a bed and then being irresponsible with it in the sense that you keep it off the bed too long. If you do plan on catch and release, if it's a tournament, it goes in the well. It's you got no option. But when it comes to you're fishing for fun, you catch the fish, take the picture, put it back on the bed. Don't put it 15 yards off of where it originally was. And I truly think too, also something I've heard as well is I've heard of guys pulling fish off beds, releasing them, and then there's been that idea that they make a new bed in that area where they've been released. They found spawning areas as well. So I think there's a lot of factors that play in, but I just know there's a kind of a strong opinion, especially this time of year. It's a question that comes up, and sometimes I'll skip over a bed just because it's a tiny fish. I just feel like it's not necessary. But it's really hard to pass up like a bed with like a 7-pound female on it. That's a once in a lifetime kind of deal. Not saying I ever caught a 7-pound female, but if I did ever see one there, I think it'd be hard to pass up.
What about the 8-pounder you just talked about? That wasn't you?
No, I don't know who that was, but that was not me. Let's just say I caught one crappie today, and that was about.
Yeah, let's be real. You're probably never gonna
catch an 8-pounder. You don't think I'll ever catch an 8-pounder?
No, probably not. Let's just not talk about that.
I'm in the land of donkeys right now, so we'll have to play it by ear. Okay, so let's do a follow-up question. Like, if you're bed fishing, what are let's hear like 2 baits from each of you guys. I'll let Mike go first on this one. 2 baits that are just your all-time favorite bed baits. Yeah.
Yeah, one of them's got to be the lizard. Kind of imitates a salamander. It's visible on the bed, which is really important. You want to see the action on the bait. And you want to you want to mimic a creature that's going to be a threat to the bass on the bed. So salamander would be one, the lizard. Then the second one, also a predator or a threat to the bed, would be a crawl type bait. So anything like a rage crawl or any type of crawl imitation. One that I was playing around with, I haven't got to use too much. That looked interesting was the Demiki air crawl. Have you heard of that?
I have. Yeah, it's a pretty cool looking deal.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. I heard that it has its pinchers up in a defensive position when you fish it. So that could be really cool to fish on a bed, see what kind of reaction these bass might have to a bait that they've probably never seen before.
Yeah, that's a cool little deal. I've never fished one, but I've seen it, and it's pretty unique. To me, can make some kind of cool stuff. Yeah, and I guess the one thing you mentioned too is you're trying to imitate something that looks like an intruder, something that's not supposed to be there. Like you said, like a lizard. Like a crawl, especially crawls like to get up on beds and gobies too. If you're fishing like the Great Lakes system, an awesome bait would throw along a bed would be like a little drop shot, like a reaper that looks like a goby, or just a goby imitation bait in of itself. This can be kind of a cool time of your fish because the fish are kind of vulnerable. It can be easy to catch them. If you're getting into bass fishing, it can be a cool way to get into it. Just wouldn't get too used to it because of course the fishing is never that. The fish aren't always that accessible year round, but. What about you, Peric? What are your 2 go-tos?
I got 2.
Thanks.
The first one is going to be this crawl bait right here, the striking rage crawl. Definitely love this bait.
Yeah, that's a great little dude.
And then something that probably people are not going to think about or not going to guess, this would be one of my favorites, but it's going to be a topwater frog, a poppin' frog, or a popper. This is a really good way to find beds. Like if you're not seeing beds a lot, or if you get close to it and you see an empty bed, if you fire out a frog, you can cast that real far, poppin' frog, and just pop it. They'll think that the bluegill above their bed, and sometimes they will hit it with their mouth closed, and then you'll know there's a bed there, and you can flip your crawl by it. So those are my 2 favorite.
That's pretty interesting you say that because just getting going way back here, going way back in the archives. I don't know if you remember this, but there was this one time you and I and another friend of mine, we were fishing smallmouth lakes, just up in northern Wisconsin, and they were coming off the beds to hit poppers, and the water temp was like 58 degrees. So, like you said, same kind of concept, different species.
Yeah.
They get aggressive. It's cool to see a compare and contrast, largemouth, bedding largemouth, and bedding smallmouth. It's totally different.
Yeah, totally.
You guys experience both. Like the lake we fished had largemouth beds in some of the shallower lakes, and then you go up the main lake, and there'd be these. The smallmouth beds were massive. I can't even show you how big they are. And what's cool about this, they've got such a large area, vicinity, where they can hit that bait. Whereas if you're fishing for largemouth, they've got this kind of sweet spot. That kind of you have to get it on the sweet spot on the bed. With the smallmouth, you can get it on the edge. You can get it around the bed, and they'll come off the bed and eat it. Not all of them are like that, but if you like you were saying earlier, Perry, if you position the boat back, go with that stealthy approach, you can do some really solid damage, especially in clear water as well. So.
Yeah, I agree. I love a topwater bait during the spawn.
Yeah, it's an underrated bait, whether you're throwing a popper or a frog. Both really good baits from both of you guys. I'm gonna have to try those out this year because my spring year has not started off very well.
Yeah. You're probably gonna have to do more than just try those baits out.
You think so? You think if I don't fish like AP Bassin, or do you think if I start fishing like AP, I'll start? Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm gonna have to teach you how to fish. So just let me know when you want me to teach you.
All right. I'm getting some questions here from the MTB headquarters since I'm not here. I'm not there right now, of course. So this is kind of a cool thing. Like if you're out in a new body of water, it's springtime. What's the first thing you tie on? I know both of you guys fish around the U.S. Let's get a southern and a northern opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We talking pre-spawn, spawn, post-spawn, or?
I guess just this time of year. Like I would say, let's go with spawn since it's probably right.
So like a search bait during the spawn, what would you throw like to find out if there's fish in a lake? Or
what would you throw this time of year?
I guess I'll start southern. I was just in Alabama, last week, so that's kind of what we liked. What Bama Bass told me to throw this time of year. He said kind of what Peric said: throw the frog out, see if the fish are there, cover water. Look to see if they were there, and that's what we did the entire morning for 2.5 hours. We threw the frog, had a couple bumps, no hookups, but then we came back through some of the areas with the lizard, and that's when we picked up some fish. So I guess that would be my southern style bait, and I'll go ahead and let Peric talk about his.
Cool. What's yours, AP?
Mine would probably be a spinner bait this time of year. Just if I didn't know, like if I was fishing a new pond or a new lake, and I'd put my trolling motor on like 70, 60, 70, and I'd just go down the bank, burn a spinner bait just to see if I could get anything to react on it.
Wow, that's really fast.
Yeah, I like to fish fast when I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Cover a lot of water.
That's like KVD fast.
That is KVD fast. No, that's like Canelli fast. Have you ever seen Canelli with a trolling motor?
Yeah, both of them though. I mean, Canelli would see you going down the lake, and he'd even say, "Whoa, that guy's going fast."
No, right, Canelli's on like 110. He's got a supercharged Minn Kota in front of his boat. Yeah, he definitely does.
He runs the main motor on idle.
Yeah, he does.
Steers with it, and yeah, I like both those though. Spinnerbait, I love spinnerbaits this time of year. I really, really do. Someone else asked, we ran the turtles, which were by Doomsday, I believe it was, in this month's box. And people wanted to know, would that be a pretty decent bed bait, being that it kind of looks, it's like it imitates that intruder? Like, is that something that you would try out on a bed?
I haven't seen the bait yet. I haven't opened my box and wait till I take it out on the lake. But turtle, that's another creature style bait, and creature baits, always the go-to this time of year during the spawn. So I would definitely give it a shot. And for sure, a bass has never seen that kind of bait before.
Yeah. It's just unique. Like I don't even know how I would fish it. I've never fished a turtle style bait, but I just imagine that if you put it on a Texas rig and try it out, it'd probably be pretty decent. Just because, like you said, it's unique. Fish probably haven't seen too much of it. I'm a big believer in throwing stuff that the fish haven't seen too much of. I don't think fish remember baits. I don't think that they're that intelligent, but I think it's just a confidence booster, in my opinion.
This
turtle.
Can I ask you a question about that then?
Sure.
Do you like the A-rig?
No.
No, why don't you like the A-rig? When the A-rig first came out, did you like it?
When the A-rig first came out, I don't think I did. Are you trying to get at something, or did I like the A-rig?
You said that you liked new style baits that fish haven't seen, and the A-rig is just.
But the thing with the A-rig though, it flooded. It was like that. The turtle,
the turtle's secret.
Big, the turtle could be big. We may be doing ourselves some harm by talking about the turtle right now.
All right, maybe.
I mean, you don't even know what that 8-pounder was caught on today. Might have been a turtle.
I mean, you definitely didn't catch it. That's all I know. So let's continue with the next person. Let's go with the next question here.
I didn't catch it, but yeah, A-rig. I'm not an A-rig guy. I don't know. I don't live in Alabama. I live in Illinois. Okay, let's go with some more questions here. Everyone's doing really great here. I'm surprised Alex is answering these questions so great now. I'm just kidding. Okay, so here's a good one. Since you guys are both YouTubers, I think this is the first first time we've had both YouTube. No, I think we've had multiple YouTubers on in the past one.
Yeah,
we had
come on, dude. Can you get your facts straight?
Sydney and Gene were on the last one. So this is a question I think I didn't ask them, and I want to ask you guys. Is what got you both into making YouTube channels? Because I know there's a lot of young guys out here who watch your videos.
Let me take this question first.
Go for it, Barrick.
Yeah, I actually know the answer to Barrick. I'm more interested in Mike's answer. Let's hear it, Barrick.
Okay, so this is how I started in YouTube. I was a little freshman at my high school, and I was fishing, and somebody's like, "Oh, you."
What happened?
He froze. He's frozen. Nice, we're gonna miss his whole story. That's great. Should I just go by, or should we wait for him?
Well, let me send him a new invite.
All right.
He's at the University of Alabama right now, so Lord knows how great that internet is.
Well, it's that time of year, everyone's going on the internet doing.
Wait, can you hear me?
Now we can.
Oh,
yeah.
there you go. Now you're back.
That potato you're using isn't working out too well, man.
Hold on.
Oh, he's gone. He's gone.
Wait, I'm back.
Oh, he's back.
Okay. What's going on, dude?
I don't know what
Bad
that was
Wi-Fi?
about. Yeah, I mean, I'm on the University of Alabama's Wi-Fi, so.
That's exactly what I said. You were about to tell the best story of 2016. You cut out.
I know. Okay, but anyway.
Start from the beginning. You stopped at like the first word you said, so you gotta tell us.
Okay. Yeah. So I was a little freshman in high school, right? And one of my friends who I knew, because we talked about fishing, he was like, "Have you ever heard of this Jon B kid? He makes YouTube videos." I'm like, "Jon B, who's this loser?" So I'm like, whatever. I'll go fishing with him. Like, I guess I'll go fishing with this kid. So me and Jon B go fishing at some ponds. We start hanging out a little bit. He comes up to my lake house and he's like, "You should start making YouTube videos." I'm like, "Nah, that's lame." And he's like, "I'll make you a channel for you." I'm like, "All right." So Jon B made my YouTube channel, and then it just took off from there and out. Now I'm just like such a top YouTuber that I'm pretty much falling off the charts right now.
You're closing in on 20K, is that right, or am I wrong?
Yeah, I'm almost at 20K, and I have put in no work until like 3 months ago. I finally was reborn into the YouTube stages, so I'm coming back at it.
We need to celebrate this over at MTB. We need to celebrate this. We'll send you a cake. We'll mail you a cake. It says
I think I was MTB's first pro staff member.
I think you were actually.
I think I was. I think I pretty much prompted.
You and Gene were the OG MTB pro staffers way back. This is when AP Bassin
was making videos and actually doing stuff on YouTube.
Yeah, it was when he had his YouTube career all straight away, but then
I took a dip, but now I'm climbing out of that hole surely and slowly.
That's great to hear, Peric.
But I keep on slipping down. Like the walls just keep on slipping. I'm trying my best to get out. We'll see.
So what would you say for like a young guy starting a YouTube channel? Like one tip. It can
one tip. Post videos, but you have to make sure they're what you want to post. You got to post videos. You can't say you have a YouTube channel and not post videos. I get so many people saying, "Check my YouTube channel out." I click the thing and there's no videos. Like what? What am I looking at here? Your thumbnail, man? Come on. I need to see something. So that's my number one tip.
My favorite is when people say, "Subscribe to my channel. I'll have videos in about 2 weeks, 2 months, something like that."
Yeah. What are you doing, man? Like, come on. That's my tip.
What about you, 1rod? How did Mike start getting into the YouTube channel or getting into the fishing YouTube scene?
Yeah, it's not as exciting as Peric. I didn't have an all-star make my channel for me or anything. What happened was, when I was, I've always liked taking pictures of my fish, to remember my catches, to look back on that moment, especially if it's a big fish. Then I thought one day, well, what if I made a video, because that's even better than taking a picture of a fish, because during the winter I would always be have cabin fever. I'd be watching videos and stuff, and I'd be like, oh, what if I take some videos, have them stored up, maybe I'll watch a couple, watch some new videos, mix it up, and maybe have a source of data to look back on, just like a data log to find what patterns worked in the past. So I basically just made videos to record my catches and just to have them in my database. I didn't make them for anyone else to watch. That's why all my videos in the past basically just show the cast, the fish catch, and the release, and that's it. There's no intro, no outro, and I put some data in the video description just to see where I was fishing, the date, the air temp, water temp, all that stuff. And my channel blew up about exactly 1 year ago, pretty much, and that's when I started catering videos to make them a little more enjoyable for the viewer, and not just, I didn't really half-ass them as much. That's basically how I did it.
So kind of what you're saying in the beginning, it was almost like an accident. It was almost like you were just kind of putting these videos up for your own personal use, and it kind of took up. And I think that kind of goes back to what Perrick said. Just make videos that you want to make. I mean, back then you didn't make these videos for anyone. You were doing it because that was how you saw. That was what you envisioned your YouTube channel being. You know, going out there catching fish on the chest cam and stuff like that, and just straight up fishing. Stuff that a lot of people can relate to, which is really neat. You know, I would say the majority of people out there who are subscribers to our channels and subscribers to Mystery Tackle Box, a lot of them are bank anglers. So it's really cool to see some, like, you know, myself, I'm a bank angler. I don't have a boat, so it's really cool to see other YouTubers blow up like this. It's very possible. You don't need the really nice camera gear. You don't need a boat. You don't need a truck. Like, you can get it done as long as you're doing what you believe in. But those are awesome. Those are awesome stories, especially Perrick's, because you know, I was a part of that story.
You were a part of that story.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you're kind of part of mine too, because you were the first YouTuber I've ever started watching. I believe it was you.
Really?
The first channel I've ever started watching on YouTube.
Hey, you don't need to lie to him. You don't need to lie to him.
It was him. I think it was him.
Don't tell Mike. Don't tell Gene that. Don't tell Gene that I was the first. That was the person that you watched.
Unfortunately, I didn't find Gene's channel until last year, which is unusual. I don't know why I never found it.
Oh no! No, don't tell Gene that. Hopefully he's not watching.
I love watching his videos. I learned a lot. I never found it. Same with Flair. No offense to those guys.
Yeah,
No,
I don't
no
like
offense to
watching his videos, Flair's videos.
Flair's? You don't like watching Flair's videos?
No, not really. I don't know. I don't really know. All right, next topic. Next topic. I don't want
All right, next topic. This one's very specific, okay, and it kind of goes back to the first question I asked, but it's something everyone wants to know because, like I said, this is the perfect time to top off your PB, to renew or refresh your personal best largemouth or smallmouth bass. How do you maximize your big fish catch ratio during the spawn? So in other words, what are some baits that you specifically throw for those big fish? And maybe a little side deal is what you look for. Like, what are some things that shout big fish when you're going down the lake or pond?
Well, you know what bait I would choose?
What bait would you choose?
Probably the Robin-made mother. That thing just attracts the giants. Like, that S-waving action. You could also catch a shark on that thing if you wanted to, but
it's big.
Definitely my go-to is the Robin-made mother.
Dude, it has some incredible drawing power, though, to be honest. I'm very impressed with it. I have about 4 myself.
Yeah, I've got like 15 of them in my boat, but
you actually do have some though.
I have a negotiator. I don't have a mother.
Yeah, you have a negotiator. The mother is huge. The mother is like literally this big.
What is the negotiator?
As big as my nose. Oh my!
I didn't want to say anything.
Oh my gosh!
But honestly, they're like big swim baits.
No, yeah, big swim baits are really good in the spawn. A bluegill swim bait, I've caught some big fish on that. I know you have too. You took my bluegill swim bait once and caught like a 5-pounder on that. Remember?
I did actually. I did actually. That was a depth bull shooter.
Depth's bull shooter. I like that bait too. So big baits do get big bass, but you also don't need a big bait to get big bass. I've caught numerous 5-pounders on a small finesse jig or on a Senko style bait in the spawn. Pretty much during this, if you want to catch big fish, try and capitalize as many days in the water as you can during the spawn because that is when you're going to have your best chance to catch a big bass is during the spawn.
Definitely. Like now and maybe like in the fall too, but especially right now. That's when they
especially right now.
I mean, there's guys too that will literally go out like specifically and spend the majority of their hours of the year fishing right now because they know that this is the best time to catch big fish. It's a fact. I mean, like if you're not putting in work on the lakes and ponds right now, you're missing out. Like if you really want to go for that big bite.
You know that story? The guy who woke up every morning at 4 a.m. in California to chase Dottie, the world record bass.
Yeah. And then snagged it.
Yeah, well, he caught it a couple years ago when it was 21 pounds. Then he snagged it by accident when it was 45. But dude, that guy was dedicated every spring. Yeah. 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. before work, he'd get out on the water, use a jig, fish those. Well, I guess looking for whatever they do in California. He was dedicated.
Yeah, that must have been heartbreaking. I think I would have quit bass fishing if I did that one.
Snagged it when you think you have it. When you think you caught it.
You snag the world record after waking up for countless days at 4 in the morning. Yeah, that's when you draw. That's when you just, I don't know.
I think you'd see all my equipment on eBay the day after.
Yeah.
I'd take up golf or cycling or.
You'd probably just see my truck and boat just like flying off one of those cliffs over there. All right.
That's great.
What do we got?
You want some more questions?
Yeah, hit me with some questions right now.
I'll hit you with a question. I got make sure it's a good question. So technically, let's just recap that.
Yeah,
that
recap
question.
that.
So big baits work good, but you don't always need big baits. You can catch them a lot of things on your jigs.
Pretty much get out on the water and figure out what those fish are doing. Like that's pretty much. I think on the water experience is the best way to learn fishing.
Definitely.
That's my 2 cents right there.
Most definitely.
If you're fishing for those bigger fish, a couple things you want to know is that they typically spawn a little bit earlier than the rest of the pack in a little bit cooler water, and they'll also make beds a little bit deeper. So the 2 things to keep in mind for you guys watching if you want to target those huge fish, those trophy-sized fish.
Yeah.
That's but talking about that colder water deal, I know you fish Clinton a lot, or like probably a lot of our viewers. I've seen a lot of comments about Clinton. I'm frozen.
People know Clinton. Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh wait, no, I'm not. Okay, but anyways, so like a power plant lake, I've caught majority of my big fish on the opposite side of the power plant lake.
Cold water.
Cold water. Big fish love cold water because they don't have to eat as much. They don't have to have a high metabolism, and they eat just slow moving things that are on the bottom. That's why those fish are big.
A little more oxygen too. Big
fish.
That
too.
Pick up a lot of oxygen. Just think outside the box. I know Lake Clinton and a lot of other lakes around the nation too. They've got a cold and hot side and heat discharge area and a cold area that's not getting pumping with hot water. And that's a good tip. I like that. Yeah, Clinton's an awesome lake too for any of you Illinois MTB fans out there who's fishing. It's a pretty sweet little place. So we talked about what to throw, how to find some of these bigger fish. Like, where are some areas you look for like bass that are specifically bedding? Like, because a bass doesn't just spawn in the middle of the lake. I mean, I'm sure it happens, but like there's specific areas that say like, oh, there's gonna be a bed there in a week. Like anglers know like what to look for. Like, what are some things that you guys both look for when you think there's gonna be a bed or when you're trying to find existing beds?
You want me to take this first, Mike, or you got this one?
You can go for it first. I'll follow up.
All right. Well, the first thing I'm going to start off with to try and find a bed is I'm going to download this app called Navionics. That's probably the first thing to do. And you got Navionics, gives you a bunch of like different map overviews of the lake. And then I'm going to look at shallow pockets where the wind is not hitting them, where there's most. And I'm going to look at the side where the sunlight is hitting it the most because those fish want to be able to see what's going on. So those fish mostly bed when it's sunny out on the sunny side. That's what I found. And then I'm just going to work my way back into those coves and look for any piece of structures. They'll like to spawn by docks. They'll like to spawn by wood. They'll like to spawn by anything that's in the water that gives them just a little bit of cover so they can also hide but also protect their bed. And I'm just going to look around pretty much and go from there. That's my how I find beds on lakes.
Nice. I like that answer. What about you?
Adding a couple more things. One thing I really want to key in on is bottom composition. You want to look for a sandy bottom.
Yeah, I missed that.
That's why I'm here for you, bro. I got you. I know you're thinking it. You were going for the detailed stuff with Navionics.
I was missing the main point right there.
What's on the bottom? The bed, the actual bed.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not gonna find a lot of bass in mud bottoms. So don't do that.
All right. So you want sand bottom. You want to target shallow flats. That might be somewhere where they spawn. Like you said, wood's going to hold heat, and it might be a little bit warmer, a couple degrees warmer. And I think that pretty much covers it. That would be pretty good for those.
AP did good on that one. One thing I like to add too is bass. Bass are really specific as to where they like to bed. Like I was saying, you won't just randomly find a bed. It's there for a reason. It's by a piece of wood. They feel protected. One kind of interesting thing that we found when I was fishing with AP Perrick up in Wisconsin is there was this one bank that didn't have much on it. There was no like big structure or like timber and like that. But there were beds.
What are we talking about right now?
Talking about up in northern Wisconsin when we were fishing.
Oh, Sammy D's house.
Yeah, Sammy D's house. And there was all those beds along that deep drop off right on the edge.
Oh yeah,
we didn't understand why they were there, but then we realized that once it got colder, they moved off the beds.
Oh yeah, there was a way for them to go up and down and still be able to feed.
It was like the weirdest thing. It's like they knew, they planned it out. It was I don't know. I think smallmouth are crazy, but the beds were right on the line of a drop off. So if it got too cold, they could seek deeper water, and then when it got warm and the sun was out, they went up on the beds. It was crazy stuff, but strategically, fish really do put beds in an area for a reason. It's not like there's going to be a bed by a little sandy area surrounded by some timber. Like, it's just going to happen. I got another question here from the MTB headquarters. let's see. Do you like? This is a pretty decent question because I think it almost pertains to like post spawn, kind of right after spawn, which for some of you southern dudes is probably coming soon or has already happened. But do you like soft plastic frogs or hollow belly frogs better when things start to warm up, or do you use both, or do you use neither? Let's hear it.
Do you mean like the toad style versus the hollow
Yeah,
body? Is that what you're
like
referring to?
toad versus hollow belly. Those, yeah, that's what I was going.
Mike, you got this one first.
All right. I mean, I'll use both after spawn depending on the conditions. If I'm fishing, a little bit, depends on the vegetation really. If I'm fishing a more open bank or something, I might throw the buzz toad. It depends on the fish's mood. That's the kind of bait where you're always retrieving it. The buzz toad, it sinks slowly, so you want to slowly buzz it across the top. If the water's still a little cool, if the fish are still in a little negative mood, I'll fish the hollow body that floats. I'll fish it around cover, target fishing, give it a couple pops, let it pause. It really depends on the fish's mood, but that's all I gotta say about that.
Yeah, they're two very different types of frogs, one's a toad technically.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah.
Thanks for that comment. We kind of knew they were two different types of frogs. Thanks. All right, now I'm gonna dive in.
Let's hear your opinion. I want to hear what you have to say. I really don't want to hear what you have to say, but let's hear what you have to say.
I have an in-depth, really good thing about.
Are we gonna have to push this over an hour?
Wait, let me get my notepad out. Hold on, I gotta make my notepad out.
You might want to write this down.
Yeah. I'm ready.
So I'm going to start off in the spring. I'm going to start off by throwing a hollow belly frog because I can work that frog so much slower than a rivet frog. So there's times when I'll pop a popping frog, and I'll wait till the wake is gone, and then I'll pop it again. So I can fish it in colder water. And then when the fish start to eat shad after post spawn, I'll throw a buzz frog because I think that what they think a buzz frog is they think it's another bait fish busting on shad. So I'll throw I like to throw a white rivet frog a lot, and I think that's what we're talking about, like a rivet frog.
Yeah.
I like to throw that around clear water too because it's more of a reaction bait. They don't have a lot of time to think about it. If they see something that's eating shad on the surface, they just go around and hit it. I know, for instance, there was a bass open on Smith Lake, which is about an hour from me, and a lot of dudes in the top 10 were throwing a white buzz frog because they were still around. They were spawn or post spawn, but those fish were eating. And they were eating shad, and that water is probably 20-foot visibility on Smith. They've got a lot of clear water on Smith, and they were just coming up and eating that buzz frog because it was a reaction strike. So that's kind of the difference between the two different frogs. If I want a really fast reaction strike, warmer water, I'm going to throw a rivet frog. Colder water or warmer water, I'll throw the popping frog just so I can, depending on how fast I want to move the frog. That's why I like a popping frog.
Yeah, the hollow belly frogs kind of give the fish more of an opportunity to eat it. A bit more lethargic. Did you not? I don't. I may be wrong here, but didn't you throw the buzz frog at James when you fished that open?
Yeah, I did win some money on the buzz frog, but that was post spawn, and it was shallow water, and they were schooling up on shad, and I was able to throw that over some submerged grass and reel it pretty fast, and they were just. The first day I caught all my fish on that rivet frog, and they loved it. So
those fish were moving off their spawn areas, and they were
moving off and trying to bulk up. Because a lot of times what they'll do is when they're guarding fry, they'll be really skinny because they just spawned out, so they're looking for anything to eat. And if they'll see shad busting, they'll go over there and eat it. They're not really the smartest during that time of year because they're really hungry.
Okay, so real briefly, just both of you guys, real quick, what setups are you guys using? Because it gets kind of specific. I mean, you can't really use a spinning rod for the situation. What kind of gear are you using?
For frog fishing?
Yeah, I would. Let's do hollow bellies. I mean,
hollow
you can kind of fish both, really, the same setup.
Gotcha. Well, I got some new stuff recently. I'm fishing for my hollow bodies, 7-foot 1-inch medium heavy. I want something that's a little bit longer, but I don't want it too long because then it makes it a little harder to work the bait. It might strain your wrist if you're fishing for long hours. And I'm just fishing. I'm fishing 30-pound braid. A lot of times, if I'm fishing the bank, I want to make long casts. If there's an isolated target I need to get to. And I've actually I've never had any problems breaking off 30-pound braid. So I know some people like using heavier. Some people say that they can break it off. I've never had any problems doing that.
My setup now.
Yes, that'd be yeah.
All right. I like to, if I'm throwing a frog around docks or shallow water, I like a 7.3 heavy rod. Powell Max, I think that's what I throw, and I throw 65 to 80-pound braid.
Wow.
I like to jack those fish.
Grouper fishing.
No, you need heavy braid. I love heavy braid. I know it's not gonna fail. It allows me to. I can cast pretty far with 65-pound test braid too. And if I'm fishing more mat fishing where I need to really horse those fish out, I'm gonna use a 7.6 extra heavy flipping stick to get them out of the mats. So those are kind of my two different frog rods.
Cool. Nice. Both good.
Braid all the way. Never using anything else but braid.
Yeah, you gotta use braid. You know what's interesting, though?
No 6-pound fluoro.
You know what's interesting? Bama Bass only uses monofilament even with frogs, which I found really unique. He just said the fish in his lake are so line shy he can't use any braid, so he's always using 17-pound Trend Original monofilament. And when he has to the hook, he has to really jack into them to get good hook penetration.
Yeah, it's got so much. That line has so much stretch.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think I can do that.
That's not for me.
Yeah, that's tough, dude. That's really tough.
Dude, he had me using the 17-pound mono, and the big fish I hooked, I was using that mono. I don't know. I had a good hook set. I don't know how it came off. Maybe a little. I'm not used to using that kind of stretch.
I rarely use mono. That's crazy stuff.
Hey, it works for him, but everyone has different opinions. That's the cool thing about fishing.
You go anywhere and people are fishing with different gear. Like my drop shot setup's a lot different than other people's drop shot setups.
Yeah, there's no one right way to do things. You learn things over time based on your preferences. Just like Peric and I have different frogging setups. We both catch fish. It's all good.
Yeah, slightly different. Okay, that's cool. So we kind of went in progression here. We started off with a little bit of pre-spawn action, a little spawn. Then we somehow made it to post-spawn. I think we've covered the entire spring reproductive lineage there when we were talking about bass, at least. So I know you guys both got your box, right? I know, Peric, you got yours.
Yeah, I got my box right here. I think I got demoted to the regular box. But
you got demoted? Well,
I got demoted.
Peric, the problem is the videos, when they slow down, we cut you off, dude. No.
I'm trying my best over here. I got no ponds to try and catch these fish out of. I can't really take the boat out some days. I got to do a little bit of schoolwork now and then. I also have to try and get a degree over here. I can't just be fishing all the time. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
So I think I know what you're going to answer, Peric, but what's one bait that you guys got that you probably are just going to use a ton of? Or you could pick two.
What bait you think I'm going to use?
The Rage Craw, dude. You've been talking about that bait all this entire episode. I feel like that's the one. Or am I wrong?
I just did film a video with it. Maybe that's what I'm talking about. But no, yeah, I do like the Rage Craw. But also, I think I was really surprised to see this bait in here. Actually.
What is it?
You're gonna be. I'm gonna take it out of the package. I'm gonna take it out of the package. I'm gonna see if you can guess what it is.
Am I gonna be jealous?
You're probably going to be jealous.
Let's see if you can guess it faster. This will be interesting.
Let's see it.
Oh, the hula popper.
Hula popper.
Yeah, yeah. I love the hula popper during the spawn. So I think the little hula popper is going to be my second choice in my box.
I grew up fishing the hula popper. That's all I would fish.
Yeah, that's why I was shocked to see it in the box. I was like, I didn't even know these things they
still existed.
Made new ones. I'm happy to see that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's pretty cool. I actually did. I knew we were putting it in the box, but I forgot when we were doing it. So that was kind of a surprise seeing that. It's funny. You work for the company and you forget what's even in the box. It's still a surprise.
You work for the company, okay?
Yeah.
I don't know. When was the last time you were in the office there? All I've been seeing is these travel videos you've been posting.
You have been traveling a lot, man. You on paid vacation right now?
I have been. No, I'm traveling. I'm repping the MTB hat too while I'm traveling.
Surprised they still give you a hat too.
Yeah. What about you, Mike? What's one or two lates that you got this month that you're thinking, dude, I'm gonna fish that and catch a toad on it?
You know what? I always do a slam every month, and I actually don't open the box till I get on the water because I like to make it a surprise. I don't even know what's. Peric actually ruined it for me. Thanks for telling me what's in there, man. Now it's not gonna be a surprise anymore.
But you get the pro box because we like you better, right?
Yeah, I get the pro box. Yeah.
Okay, so it'll be a little bit different than Peric. You might have some of the same lures.
Oh, true, true.
Yeah.
Are we still good? People are commenting an error occurred.
An error?
Same. Don't worry about it. Let me see. I look on the stream.
I think someone probably would have said something from MTV if we were.
Okay.
I think they're trolling us.
Trolling us. They succeeded.
Anyway, yeah, that's man, tips, dude. We just jammed all of those tips in like a matter of how many minutes? 45 minutes.
46 minutes.
I got the lowdown spiel from AP Bassin from 1rod1reel. Yeah. some good tips. And Alex is in Alabama, so we kind of got to see his mindset. Mike, you're on the East Coast, so we got to see your mindset about spring fishing. But yeah, do you guys have anything to add as far as spring fish? Something that you are just dying to talk about right now, as far as some bites you've been on recently, some types of fishing that you just, or maybe you want to keep it a secret.
I was just out of reservoir. I just want to talk about this one tough day I just had 2 days ago. I was on the reservoir, rented the Jon boat. The first 3 hours of the day, I had the water temp. The water temp was 53 degrees. I went up shallow looking for them. They weren't there. Then I had to, 3 hours into the trip, I went offshore a little bit into a hump that went from 35 feet all the way up to 10 feet, and I finally caught a couple fish. But, I spent 7 hours just for 2 fish. Just want to say, big bodies of water, it can be tricky to break those down and catch fish. You got to put in the time and effort to figure them out. But when you do catch those fish on a bigger body of water, it's super rewarding. And I just remember the one thing. If you guys are worried about fishing during the spawn, about bass maybe taking out too many fry and not reproducing correctly, you can check out the doom surplus theory. That can talk a little bit about maybe that might change your opinion, maybe not what you have about your opinion on spawn fishing.
That's good stuff. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of different ways people can go in this hole. That's kind of why I brought it up, is because I wanted to hear what you guys had to say. And like I said, I don't have really a stance, to be truthful. I catch fish off beds. It's not my favorite thing to do, but if it's a big reel, I go ahead and do it. So one cool thing that we do at the end of this, since we're kind of nearing the end of this cast, is we do like to give some stuff away. I believe we're giving away a 3-month.
Yeah, there you go, man.
To Mystery Tackle Box. I don't know.
You work for the company, you don't even know what's going on.
No, I don't. I honestly.
Okay. How do you choose the person?
I think it's a 3-month. But
it is
the question. So we do like a question. What was last question? I forget what it was. Anyway, this question is the first one to comment. I think. Well, hopefully someone from someone MTV is looking, because I'm not looking right now.
I'm looking.
You're looking. Okay, so I'm gonna ask the question.
Okay.
Right now, and if in the first one to answer in the comment section of the YouTube livecast gets a 3-month subscription to Mystery Tackle Box. Okay, so in the last video that on Mystery Tackle Box channel that we posted, what was the brand of reel oil that was used in the video? Go.
I think I know that answer. I don't know the exact answer though, but
okay,
they're gonna
answer.
Say it now, because there's gonna be a delay. You can say it now. Was it Ardent? What was it?
No, don't say it. Hold on, because I don't know about this delay. Maybe it's. Or I'll just text it to you.
Dude, just tell me now the delay. Trust me, they're going.
Hold on, I'll text it to you. It'll take 2 seconds.
Okay, we're gonna lose it. Now you're screwed.
No,
was it Lucas?
No, for someone from MTB. Yeah, it was Lucas Reel Oil. That's
Rob Stack.
Rob Stack.
Yeah, Rob Stack
got him.
Nice job, Rob. You contacted the guys over at well, I don't know.
Well, no, that's not how you do that.
How do we do this?
Yeah,
I think we contact customer service. Let's get Brett. Brett's watching right now. MTB Hat Guy is watching right now, and he's gonna let us know how you can get a hold of us.
All right. Have Rob Stack send us a message to your channel or something, just because you have his name, Rob Stack.
Send either of us a message, and then we'll get your prize out to him.
Yeah. Don't send me a message, because I won't read it.
Send Alex many messages, you guys. He's very lonely and needs some friends. Rob, just send this YouTube channel, Mystery Tackle Box, a message, and we will get that prize out to you.
And just to make sure it's him, he has 0 subscribers. It's Rob with 2 B's, and he has a profile picture, and it looks like a 9mm and some shell casings.
Nice. Nice.
So that'll make it easy to know.
We know exactly who Rob is now. Okay, so before we wrap up, guys, do you want to get a quick shameless plug on your YouTube channel? Where can people find your videos in the future if they're interested in learning more about your guys' channel? What's your channel name?
1rod1reelfishing right there. It's in the title if you want to check it out.
There it is. And then we got the other guy.
Yeah, you're probably not gonna want to check me out, but if you get really bored and you want to see some videos of me attempting to catch bass, AP Bassin is my channel.
AP Bassin. Both awesome channels.
I got a video up right now I posted like 2 hours ago of me bed fishing with the Rage Crawl, It's
hey, nice. So it was a good question to ask you if what your stance was on bed fishing. I guess I could have just watched that video and answered it for myself.
Yeah, you probably aren't going to watch it, but if you want to watch it.
No, I'm probably not going to watch it.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, thanks so much, guys, for watching. We really appreciate everyone coming out and listening to talk about spring fishing. Catch you guys later.